Hi. Woo! Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday, October 22nd, here in the great metropolis of St. George. My name is Ed Tracey. We are very, very privileged to have with us a musical legend today. Actually, he couldn't make it. So I got Gary Huff. We're going to talk to Gary in just a second. Before we get started, don't forget, we were just talking about this. I thought I had all the time in the world. I looked up. I was like, oh, wait, my music's getting ready to start. I should probably start working on stuff here. Next November 1st, Friday, November 1st, is Street Fest. There's only 2 Street Fests left, November, December. Everybody says, oh, you guys end in October. No, we go till December. And we got some great stuff going on. Just had our first Mall Fest. That was crazy. Bounce houses. Now, if you've been to Street Fest, you know I don't do bounce houses. But we had bounce houses, and it was a huge success. Families loved it. And now we're on to the next one. Don't forget also StaleyFamilyFarm.com. If you have not been out to Staley Farm, they still have, a week and a half of their haunted house and their zombie land and all that stuff they do out there. Some witches. I think my ex-wife is working out there. Ex-wife number 2. The first one. They wouldn't let her over there. So that's going on. If you haven't been out there, I hear it's fun. I don't do haunted houses. You like haunted houses?
Yeah.
You ever been to one here in St. George?
Oh, not in St. George.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't do stuff. I don't scare. Fiesta Fun, they have one out there that they do in the old their old amusement center there. And we got a tour of it before it had even opened. There was nobody dressed up, nothing. It was just the hallway, so we walk around.
Yeah.
I was freaked out by that. I was like, I'm such a wuss. But
It's a good thing there was nobody jumping out and scaring you.
I had to wet my pants.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. Is there a good way?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't do stuff like that. But that's this week. Of course, they're closed on Halloween, so you want to get in there. This week and next week, StaleyFamilyFarm.com. Check that out. What else is going on? There's a lot of stuff. There's always something going on in this town. Always something, right? You know that. You got your thumb on the pulse around here. Gary Huff, everybody. Gary and I have recently been tied at the hip at a lot of different events. We play in a couple of bands together, and we got to play at the county fair. That was fun.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was.
That was the biggest crowd that we've ever played for so far. I'm sure you've played for bigger crowds.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then Gary repairs guitars. He builds guitars. He plays at George's Corner. Sometimes you see him playing in the back of a bus, Suntrans, route number 3, Tuesday mornings. What else do you do, Gary? How long have you been playing music, first of all?
Oh, my. Jeez.
So Gary's a rocker. He's actually 32, but he's led a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I look pretty good for 32.
Great.
Yeah.
How long you been playing?
Geez, well, I've been involved in music. My family was very musical, and we had to learn instruments. I had to learn clarinet, and then piano.
Clarinet. Do you still play it?
Well, it depends what you mean by play it.
Can remember.
Can I make noise on it?
I can make noise on a clarinet.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to learn saxophone right now. I can make a lot of really crazy noises on that.
There's nothing better than good sax.
Good sax.
Good sax.
Well, I'm not there yet.
All right.
But and then in 1963, or 64. The Beatles happened, and then that, ruined my life. Yeah. So, guitar. Oh, I want to do that. Yeah.
Everybody wanted. That hasn't happened with the accordion yet.
No,
Nobody's come on the scene. What, Slim Whitman?
No, actually, what's his name? The wacky guy.
Weird Al?
Yeah, Weird Al. His first thing was with an accordion.
He plays the accordion?
He played the accordion. He would send stuff into Dr. Demento on accordion.
Dr. Demento.
Yeah.
Dead puppy. Oh, my gosh. I remember Dr.
Fish
Demento.
fish heads, yeah.
Yummy fish. Oh, yeah. That's hilarious. So you've been playing for a long time.
Been playing for a long time.
And you've played in a lot of bands
Got
over the
really
years
serious.
and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of different types of things, tried doing originals for a long time, then just doing top 40 and playing in clubs and bars. And
Now, are you from St. George?
No.
Where are you
Originally, I was born in northern Utah. Lived in, at the age of 3, my parents moved to Huntington.
Which is just like northern Utah.
Which is, well, it's right in the middle. It's a dot right in the middle. It's a little teeny dot, too.
So we're talking Huntington, Utah.
Huntington, Utah.
I thought you meant Huntington, California.
No.
Huntington.
No, not
Okay,
Huntington.
so it is just like northern Utah. There's no difference whatsoever.
And my dad, he was an electrician in the mines and had friends that were in heavy construction. So they talked him into getting into that. We moved to Oregon. So they were building dams. They were building a dam on the Deschutes River. And lived in Oregon for a few years, then Northern California for probably about 3 or 4 years, and then Southern California. Actually, it was there for probably about 27 years.
What makes somebody go to California and come back to Utah? That's what I want to know.
From there, I moved to Carson City, Nevada.
Oh, Carson
it was-
City.
Yeah, it was getting crazy.
We were probably almost neighbors. I used to live in Amador County, California, before I moved here. Right there.
Oh.
Right over the hill.
Yeah.
Into not Tahoe.
Other side of Tahoe.
Yeah, up there. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Wow. Yeah. It's a pretty area.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
It's cold.
It
Like
gets
north.
cold.
It does.
Yeah. Gets cold. Snows. Rains.
Yeah. A lot of rain.
Floods once in a while.
There's wannabe casinos up there, like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. And for those of you that are concerned, the Armsby House is still under construction. When I first moved there, it was under construction. And I lived there for 10 years. And I've lived here for 12. So I have friends that still live back there.
Yeah, it's a nice area. I used to date a gal from Carson City. She's a very nice lady.
You've dated women from pretty
A
much
lot of different places.
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done now. I'm off the market.
Yeah.
I'm dating some gal that's a waitress at Denny's. Her name's Marge.
March.
So you lived in Carson City, and then you came
Carson
here.
City, then came here.
Now, were you
I had
single at that
family here.
point?
No, I was married. Had a couple of. It was kind of a yours, mine, and ours kind of thing. But I have 2 stepchildren and 2 children of my own.
And
So
Tyler's yours.
Tyler's mine.
He clearly is yours. That's like a mini me with black hair.
Yeah, he's taller though.
He actually is, yes.
Yeah,
I didn't
he's-
want to say.
He's a great kid.
He's awesome, and he plays. Right?
Yeah.
He's a musician.
Yes.
He's got his
He's
own
really
band.
Good. Yeah.
What's the name of that band again? Serial Killers?
No,
something like that.
No, something Panda.
Trash Panda.
No, not
Nope.
Trash Panda. It was
Panda
I'm,
Express?
I'm so
No?
bad with names; it's horrible.
Me too, Bob.
No, it's really a cool name.
Can't wait to hear it.
It bugs
Well,
me
we have
to
an
think
hour.
of it. Yeah.
so
Okay.
Figure it out.
I'll think of it. Yeah. But
So-
yeah, they kind of a fun band. I really like what they do.
Yeah, and he's a good sound guy.
He's a good sound guy.
Yep.
He's got a great ear.
And he's got a hot girlfriend.
He's got a hot girl.
She is a hot girlfriend. And I can't even tell you the conversation we had at the Mall Fest. That came out of nowhere. I'm not ever at a loss for words,
You
but
were.
her intrigued look about what I brought up, I was like,
She got you. Yeah.
she really did. It was awkward. I'm still
Yeah.
blushing. I can feel my face turning color right now.
And then my other son Dylan lives in Salt Lake.
Is he a musician?
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's also really good.
So you play in like 5 million bands.
4.9.
Famous Unknowns.
Famous Unknowns, Ed Tracey.
The Ed Tracey Band, which used to be called The Core until I showed up late to a meeting.
Yeah. We made the decision. Oh, by the way, we're calling this the Ed Tracey Band.
And we can't even tell you on the air what Dennis calls it. It's another name.
So, yeah. He's like, no. Yeah, we're calling it that.
So funny. Don't get me wrong. I love myself, but that's a stretch.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
And, a few other bands in town with some other people, other good players.
Right? And then you do a lot of solo stuff.
Yeah, mostly at George's, around sometimes at Entrada, and here and there.
Arts Festival. You played
Yeah.
in the Wine Garden at the Arts
Yep,
Festival.
At the Arts
and-
Festival. That was fun. That was a really cool deal.
Yeah, that was a nice little. That's the first time they've ever done wine at the
Beer
City
and
Arts
wine.
Festival.
Yeah,
Things are changing.
yeah.
Things are changing.
It's nice to see that they're opening up and
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a drinker, but there's something to
No,
be said
but
for
there's,
it's fun.
yeah, it allows people to go out and kind of relax and enjoy live music. It's everywhere else in the world. That's
Yeah, we need some places. We
Kinda
need a
where it
couple
is.
of live
Yeah,
venues.
yep.
You know, did you ever play at Jazzy's when Jazzy's was around?
yes, yeah.
I hear a rumor they're coming back.
That
I
is
heard
a
that.
rumor I heard.
I heard
Yeah,
that. Jazzy's gonna make a comeback. That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
It'd be cool. I never got the chance to go there. They were already widening Bluff and had torn it down by the time I got here. So
Yeah, I've heard rumors that it started out just a small coffee shop and expanded into a music venue, and because Reed was a drummer
right.
and good drummer.
Yeah, and he's still
Very
around.
good
He's
drummer.
up there at Zion's
Yeah.
Cafe
Yep.
there on next to Albertsons. And
Yeah.
has actually, I think those are his drums up on. When you walk in,
Yep.
there's a ledge, and his drums are
That's
up
his
above the
drums, yeah.
kitchen there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be cool. So now the rumor is it will be made, on purpose to have music. So it won't be an afterthought.
Right,
Yeah.
so it'd be designed
Yeah.
to have bigger space and
Yeah.
stuff.
And then we've got West.
Affogato West.
Affogato West.
Yep, she's doing stuff up
She's
there.
doing a lot of stuff up there that is really neat to see happening.
Yeah, good lady.
Yeah,
East West, good spot.
Yep. She's my cousin-in-law.
She is.
Yeah. She's my brother-in-law's cousin. So
Yeah, she's got a good
Yeah.
spot up there. So that you got that. George's Corner.
George's Corner.
Wingnuts does some music.
Wingnuts does
live
music. I guess
During the
some
week,
friends
they
that
do
play
stuff
there.
inside.
Yeah.
So Art Cowlis
Art
there.
Cowles, and Jerry Allen,
Josh Larson.
Josh Larson.
Seen him there. And then they do that outdoor. They have that little, when you first walk in, it's like an area about the size of this room, actually.
Yeah.
They do live bands out there.
Yeah.
And it is, they have heaters because it gets cold out
I
there.
think it's called.
But there's really nowhere else in town that I know of.
Not really.
You know?
Yeah.
They've
There
done
have been a few places that have tried, but
the one and only,
the one and only. Yeah. Well.
the one and lonely. Haven't met a woman there that I've ever dated. They just remodeled, actually.
Oh.
They just remodeled. They redid the parking lot,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
So now you can actually see my car from the street instead of being in a pothole. And then I just saw they remodeled the entire inside. Haven't been over there yet
Oh,
because,
wow.
I'm afraid of getting shot. But
yeah.
so that could be potential. I hear they're thinking about. They had Royal Bliss there
Oh.
2 months
okay.
ago.
Yeah.
Packed the place.
Well, cool.
And if they're doing stuff like that, then the potential for crowds is good.
There's a couple of bands in town that are lucky enough to play quite a bit. But that's
Why do you think that is? So why?
it has a lot to do with the fact that somebody in the band is a go-getter and marketer.
That's it. That's the key.
Marketing. That's the key. It's the opposite of me. I'm not a marketer.
Well, and I love to go out there and find stuff, but you just got to make the time,
Yeah.
You know where I'd like to play?
Where?
The Bit and Spur.
The Bit and Spur. They won't have anybody
No.
local. No.
What is the deal with that?
I don't know.
What if I can tell them we're from New York?
Okay.
I am from New York. That's a great little spot.
It's a great spot. Even once it's hard for him to get people out there after the season.
Which is
Probably ending
now.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, because it gets cold up
Because
there.
it gets cold.
Rosita's now is doing music.
Rosita's,
Have you
yeah.
done that place yet?
Yeah, I did with Jerry Allen. And,
Gary Allen's a good guy.
Yeah, Jerry's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
And there was another Mexican restaurant out there that had live music. That was doing pretty good.
Oscars? No?
I can't remember the name.
25 Main is doing music. I see Charlie Kestner in the window
yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
He's a regular.
Charlie's
there.
a go-getter.
Yeah.
Charlie's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And the art walk. They do the art walk in conjunction with Street Fest. It's every other month, and they've been doing live music at their galleries. So anyway, if you're a musician, you just got to look. Like you said, you just got to get out there and go after them.
Yeah.
They're out there. Otherwise, you have like Identity Crisis, who plays everywhere, and they play a lot at the State Line Casino in beautiful downtown Mesquite. And if you don't mind smelling like smoke and old people, that's a good little.
It's a cool little spot.
Yeah, it's a good little spot.
And
So
you've got Vinyl Fusion that play a lot. And
in different forms,
In
kind of
different
like
forms.
us,
Yeah.
Famous Unknowns in the Ed Tracey Band. It's the same
It's
people.
the same band, yeah.
Just the costumes are different.
Yeah.
I don't have to dress like Elvis, although I'd like to.
And
So,
Mike and Elaine.
who are part of Vinyl Fusion.
No, they're part
Oh,
of.
Soul
What?
What? That's right.
Yeah.
That's another band that
Yeah.
you see a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you just got to find a place. Do you have any favorite
Take
places that you like to play?
I don't know. Around here, there's not a big choice.
Where's
I like playing George's. It's kind of an interesting atmosphere, but you have to realize if you're playing there, you're just ambient.
right? It's like
You're in a restaurant. You're just providing some entertainment.
right. Your background music.
Yeah.
You're not the star of the show.
Right.
People aren't really coming there to see you.
No, people are going there to have parties and some of those.
Well, and
parties-
that place
So-
is designed to make money. The Paces want
Well,
people to
that's what
come
it is.
in
Yeah.
and listen to music and
Yeah.
buy food and drink.
buy food and
If
drink.
you're coming there to listen to a
Listen to a
particular band,
band.
you better spend money. Otherwise, they will ask you to get up.
Yep,
And they should.
and they should.
That's-
they're
The way it is.
it's a restaurant. Yeah.
It is.
And you should expect that. So
For sure.
there's
I don't know really of many other places.
There's not really many other places. Probably, the funnest one was that the gig at the fair. Yeah,
That was a lot of fun.
that was a lot of fun.
And then they made me kick people out of their seats.
Really?
Yeah. They need so it was the first year that they'd done any events like that, any
Yeah.
real big concerts. And we had Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They had Love and Theft the night before. And nobody really policing the VIP area. So people were just walking in.
Oh, okay.
So they asked me, hey, could you go check tickets? You didn't hear this story? This
No,
guy?
I didn't.
Oh, boy. This guy, well, so they said, go check their tickets. They should be $20 tickets. So I start going around the crowd. Hey, can I see your tickets, please? Tickets, please. Well, this guy in the front, older guy, he and I are buddies now. But it didn't start well. I was like, can I see your tickets? We are sitting here. I'm like, yes, sir, that's great. I just need to see your tickets, sir.
Yeah.
My wife needs to sit on cushioned chairs. We're not sitting on those bleachers. Buddy, I just need to see your tickets. He starts shaking his finger. I'm like, Pops, you got 3 seconds to show me your tickets or I'm going to shove that finger right where the sun don't shine. He takes out his tickets. And Vic Iverson, county commissioner, is standing right next to me when I said that to this guy, except I didn't say but. He shows me his tickets. I go, nah, see, now we can be friends. I give him a hug. I walk away. And Vic goes, you're in charge of security next year. So the New Yorker and me came out like that.
Yep.
I'm like, what are you yelling at me for? Just show me your tickets. So that's a good spot. And then we did the Battle of the Bands, which actually turned out pretty good. We didn't know what to expect. It wasn't the best spot for it in a tent with no ventilation,
Yeah.
with no signage or anything.
Yeah.
And we had five decent bands.
Yeah.
California Queens. We had 1111. We had Second Echo, who now has been out to Street Fest, and they're
Yeah,
great. We had
they-
Sixth
yeah.
String Circus. Those guys are great.
Those guys are awesome.
And then what was the other one? There was one more. I can't remember the name of these guys. They're gonna kill me if they're listening. Luckily, there's only 3 people listening to this show. But yeah, it was good, and
It was fun.
it was great because now we have, the ability to, find decent bands and put them out there. And, not to say that we don't have good bands here, but, and I'll be the first to admit it, nobody wants to hear the Famous Unknowns once every single month at the same location. Nobody wants to hear, I love Vinyl Fusion. I love Soul What. But after a while, even they go, we're playing everywhere.
Yeah.
I had Brian Benware from Red Rock Broadcasting from Mix 103. He goes, dude, you are everywhere. I'm pretty sure you emceed the new bathroom we put in our house. I'm like, yeah, that was me. So at some point you get tired. So it's good to have, while, yes, we are looking for venues and looking for places to play, we need more diverse variety, and then we need people to come out, The one good thing is if you're good and you're a good, I call it a show band, a showy band, and you're fun and you interact with the crowds, then people want to see that and they come out and it builds a crowd. If you're just up there playing music, like the background music, while at George's Corner, it's a lot of fun and people like that type of thing going on in the background. People don't go, oh, let's go see Gary and Ed out there. They're going to be there. There are a few, but they're not coming for that. They're just coming for the ambiance and the background music and stuff. So, but you want to be able to say, oh man, we're going to Jazzy's on Friday night because Gary Huff and the Huffsters are playing. I just trademark. I came up with that name. I get 10%.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you've been playing for a long time.
Been playing for a long time.
Do you teach?
I don't really teach. I do what I call troubleshooting, where I help people get over like hurdles, because I've been there, done that.
Right.
So I can look at their playing and say, okay, I can see where you're, because I've done that to myself a lot.
Right.
Why am I in this spot? And then you get over hurdles. You have this big climb, and all of a sudden it levels out. Then you have a big climb, it levels out. Sometimes you can have somebody tell you, and it just, a light goes off, and boom, you can move on to the next level. And so I don't do it a lot, but I like helping people that way.
Get a block.
Yeah, you hit a block. Yeah, and everybody does it. So it's nice. I mean, when I was growing up, there was no YouTube. It's like they came out with.
I don't think there was electricity.
There wasn't. So, and we had.
I have room to talk.
We had like in concert on TV, and you'd see bands. It's like, oh, that's how they're doing that.
You listen to tapes and you played it backwards and you tried to imitate.
Yeah. Listen to tapes and wore out records and
45s.
45, yeah.
8-track.
Like that big one up. Yeah, 8-tracks had an 8-track.
My first car had an
In my
8-track
car,
tape in it.
Yeah. You had to stick a matchbook underneath it to
hold it up.
Hold it up.
Have to wedge it, make sure it's like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bringing back some horrible memories.
So yeah, and my parents were really cool.
Are they still around? Either one still around?
No.
Were they musically inclined?
My mom, I never really saw her do much. She played some piano. My dad was, he played clarinet. When he first said, okay, I want you to start playing a clarinet. Here's the clarinet, and I'm going to show you, like, just look at these dots and where your fingers go. And he goes, and then he picks it up and he starts blowing on it and goes, and I'm thinking, he's going to teach me? This is going on in my head. And all of a sudden he whips out Clarinet Polka, which is a really hard piece. It's like, I'm just like, okay, yeah.
Clarinet Polka.
Yeah, what do I do? And so that I actually enjoyed that. I had fun. It was probably about 8, 9.
How long did you play that for?
Probably for about 2 or 3 years. 3 years. Learned piano, and did that for a few years. And then, like I said, the Beatles came on the Ed Sullivan Show. And just, and
Ed Sullivan.
Oh, I want to do that.
Yeah, no kidding. I played string bass. Did I ever tell you? I played string bass in junior high school, right in through college.
Yeah.
Had an old K upright.
Oh
Had
wow.
one of those forever.
Yeah.
Eloise, that was her name.
Eloise,
Eloise, that's what they
awesome.
call it. I was literally, there's an old movie with Woody Allen where he plays a cello in a
Yeah.
marching band. And I remember,
Remember that?
yeah, and then they're marching and he'd grab his chair, he'd run up ahead,
Yeah.
start playing. Then he'd pass him by and they'd catch up with him. And
Yeah.
yeah. So I was the guy that they brought to the football games or the pep rallies, and
Yeah.
I would play the opening shark scene from Jaws. Dun, 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 when they're doing the kickoff. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, and they go crazy. And there's pictures of this entire band, woodwinds, horns, drums, and me in the middle. It was the stupidest thing, but we
I
had
wanna
a
see
ton of fun.
that.
Oh, I have some old video. It's actually quite funny. Oh, there's our music. So we're going to take a quick break. Talking to Gary Huff, master musician, all around good guy. We're going to talk to him a little bit about guitars that he makes and lots of fun stuff. We're going back in time with Gary Huff, everybody. Stick around, Startup Nation. We'll be right back. Well, that happened fast. Here, I thought we had all the time in the world. Apparently, oh, you know why? So this is funny. So when summer vacation happens, there are a lot of kids, here before summer vacation, and a lot of the instructors here also have radio shows. But in the summer, it's just me and like four other people. So I have all the time to get in and out of here. Literally, I knew school had started because last week because I'm in here and the show ended and my music hadn't even stopped and somebody's knocking on the door to come in to do the next show. So now we have to do all this stuff where they have, there's probably 2 minutes of commercials after the show to where I have to grab all my stuff, like getting kicked out of your girlfriend's house because their parents come home. Grab your shoes and your book and get out.
Get out.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're talking about pedals that you make while we were.
Yeah. Made a few pedals. My son Dylan played bass, and he couldn't find an overdrive pedal to do what he wanted to do. And I thought about it, and I'm thinking, well, if you were recording it, you would do it this way. So nobody was doing that in a pedal, so I said we could do that, and built this bass overdrive. You could just add the overdrive signal into the bass, so you never. Most overdrives would cut bass out, so they wouldn't sound harsh.
Now there's a different pedal for everything.
There's 50 different pedals.
I see you guys, and I look down, and you have like a tray. It looks like a keyboard,
Yeah.
and it's just got like 4 or 5 different pedals and switches, and there's a couple of digital ones down there. What's the purpose? Why can't you get one that does it all?
Well, I kind of do have one that does almost it all now. That's what I use. I've been a big proponent of that. I was kind of a geek, and started getting into everything in one unit many years ago, and tried to do it all with one piece of gear, so I didn't have to haul around amps, which is great now because I just can't haul around amps.
And it's not something you can build into a guitar.
No, not really. You've got you're trying to. I mean, these all-in-one things. You're trying to emulate every pedal made. You're trying to emulate every amp made. You've got a cabinet emulator. You've got placement of the microphone. You've got a room. It's intense what they've come up with, and they've gotten really good at emulating that. It's not perfect, but it's very good.
I've heard some amazing sounds.
Yeah, I have. That's what I do live. I just have this thing that emulates everything, but you have to spend time with it. You have to sit there in front of a loud PA and run some kind of music through it and play to it and set everything up. And it takes it actually takes time, and then you have to keep doing it because sometimes you hear something different. You go, I want to change this.
Well,
So it's like having an amp. You do that anyway. You go in and you change little things, and then if you have a tube amp, it changes over time. The tubes start wearing out. So you're over there constantly tweaking knobs. But with this, you don't have to do that. So
You have one that changes the key
I have one that changes the
without having to wear a
key.
capo,
Yeah.
or as my uncle used to call those, substitute for talent.
It's,
But yeah, so you just keep playing the same
I can, yeah,
notes, and it just
with that
changes.
one,
again.
I've got this wacky MIDI pickup and this thing built in. You got to run this big old ugly cable, but I can play anything I want with it. I can play a 12-string guitar. I can play a symphony. I can have all kinds of wacky stuff going on. And yeah, change the key. Somebody says, "Well, I want to, sing this a half step lower." Okay, reach down and set it up, and
That's pretty cool.
it's pretty neat what you can do.
And I'm sure you got one that changes it from a guitar to a bass.
It'll
Right?
it'll from a guitar to a bass to
What do we need
acoustic
Dennis for?
guitars. What I don't know. No, we need Dennis because he's awesome.
Dennis is that guy. I can't even tell you on the radio what he calls the ETB band, but it's another 3 initials, and it's bad.
It's bad.
So bad it's good. What else is on that thing? I mean, and did you
well,
make all those pedals? No.
No. This is all made by somebody. It's all digital, so it converts my guitar signal into like digital information, and then twists everything up and does all kinds of crazy stuff, and then spits it back out so we can hear it. And it's just a dedicated computer in a little box.
And then
But it can do anything, and they've gotten really good at emulating tube guitar
Voices.
Voices, yeah.
chorus.
Yeah, and it's very convincing.
Yes.
I've had people come up and go, "Well, man, I like your sound. Where are you using this little box right here? You need a tube amp." You just told me I sounded great.
That's like the guy with your microphones. Microphones. It was in Santa Clara.
It was in Santa
We're at
Clara.
that bike race,
What?
and he has these Voco Pro mics, which are actually really good mics.
Yeah,
but
they sound good. They're just noisy. You just have to set the PA up for them.
And he was.
Are those Vocal Pros? Those are garbage.
Mm-hmm.
No.
This man is fun at parties. Okay. Some people.
I won't tell you what he actually said, but yeah. Anyway,
Good
we
stuff.
never saw him again. He never came up afterwards.
No, because he's probably hanging out at the Eagles Lodge.
Yeah. So
Not that that's a bad
was fun.
place.
Anyway, so I built this pedal and did the prototypes, and then Dylan switched to playing guitar. So Tyler started playing bass. So he took over the
And that's what he
duties
plays now.
of beta testing. Yeah.
Beta
So I'd like, okay, here, try this one. He come back and goes, "It's okay, but it needs to do this." I'm like, okay. So then I do that and hand it to him. He goes, "Okay, it's okay, but it needs to do this." And then one time I hand it to him and he comes back and he goes, "I want this one."
That's awesome.
I go, "You want one like?" "No, I want this one." Okay. So, and that's where we ended up with that. And it was kind of a cool idea, and pretty much sold one to every bass player in this area, which was, 10? And
But what do you get for one of those?
well, normally stuff like that goes for about $150.
There you go. Take long to make them?
Well,
And I'd imagine
did it-
it's.
by the time I got the prototype done, I ended up having the board built, and then all I had to do is stuff the board and assemble everything.
And is it different by player? I mean, is it as unique as the player? Do you do specific stuff for it? Is it pretty standard?
It's pretty much I pretty much took circuits that were already out there and made them work in this way, which is what everybody does. I mean, I can go out. There are pedals that were made in the 70s that people are still building clones of because they want that sound. So there's this pedal, and there's 50 different. We're this clone. We just changed one, component to make it a little bit different, and that's what everybody does. There's like 500,000 foot pedals, stomp pedals.
Are there unique pedals out there?
There are some very unique pedals.
Like
There's some
nobody
pedals
could ever say, "Oh man, this is good, this is good," but this one here is like the king of foot pedals.
Yeah, well, everything's subjective.
Sure.
So it's like
What you like, somebody else would say, "Oh, that's garbage."
Yeah, I mean, what I did was I made it emulate like somebody on stage with 2 amps, and one of them's overdriven, the other one is just straight. So,
Right.
like I said, with bass, you want the bottom end not to disappear when you hit the overdrive. So that's what this pedal does. Of course, like everybody makes one now. This is like 5 years later, and everybody is doing the exact same thing I did.
But you must be doing something good if they come to you and say, "Hey, I heard you made this pedal."
They didn't. No, they just, it's like everybody kind of went, that's an interesting idea. I wasn't worried about it. I'm not I'm not a marketing guy, so it was just to me like, okay, here, this is available, and I tried to find somebody to market it for me because I'm just not really in that mindset.
We're going to market it right now.
Okay.
If somebody wanted a pedal, where could they go? Are you on
Actually,
Facebook? Can they call you?
No, they could probably just go into MusicWorks.
MusicWorks?
Yeah.
Right on, is that
It's
300?
on 300 South, 200 East.
300 South, 200 East.
Yeah.
It's right there near
Yeah.
near the LDS temple there. And
It's called a steak sauce.
Steak sauce.
Steak sauce. It's put a little sauce on your steak. Actually, the funny way that came about was Dylan had this one sound on one of those boxes that does everything. It was patch number 57.
57.
So he goes, "Yeah, we'll call it steak sauce." I went, "Okay, that sounds cool." So that's how the name came about. But it was a kind of a cool idea. It does something. It doesn't do everything. You still need, like, if you want a different sound, you need something else.
Sure.
It's like Tyler has that, and he has 2 other overdrives for doing different things. But for a specific, to accomplish this specific thing, that's what this pedal does. You get the overdrive tone without losing the bass, without losing the bottom end on your bass. And then I've got a couple of other ideas I'm working on, but I just don't have time to really develop them. But
It's tough when you're independently wealthy.
yeah.
You just travel the whole world. I know that one.
Yeah.
Independently broke. I'm sorry. I get the two. I get the two confused all the time.
All the time.
All the time. You know what I saw? I opened for Dave Chappelle in Oakland, and they had a guy that got up there, and it was just him, and he had a bunch of pedals, and he would play certain type of music with one pedal, and then he'd put in a loop,
Yeah.
and then so that beat would play.
Right.
He'd come back, play another beat with a different pedal.
Yeah.
And then get that in. And then he would play like 4 or 5 different beats or tunes or whatever it was. They'd all be working together like a chorus. And then he'd play the rhythm after that to that.
Yeah. That's kind of what, actually, Charlie does a lot of that, too. I do that, too.
That's crazy.
I'll loop something, and then you play over it.
And how long does it, like you record it?
You can, if you have a good looper, you can record hours, but
Really?
you could sit there and just keep overdubbing until it just turns into a mess. But
It's a good mess.
It's a good mess.
It's a symphony.
It's a symphony.
That's awesome. I was amazed. I had never heard anything like that. And I was like, I gotta stop doing drugs.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. It's.
So you do stuff like that.
Yeah. It can be a good writing tool too. So it's.
Yeah, you said you write
a lot
your
of
own
fun.
stuff. Do you have any like popular songs? Anything?
Not really. No.
Great.
In my head, yeah.
Great.
No, I do. I haven't really. The biggest thing about recording your own stuff is you have to get past this point called "When am I finished?"
Yeah. Yes, I'm familiar with that one.
So that's where I'm at. Am I done yet? No. I can hear one little thing I have to fix.
Right.
Okay. No, I can hear one more little thing. So yeah, you have to find that spot and say, if I fix it too well, it's going to lose all of its life.
Right.
It's going to no longer have any.
Or you just start over and say,
Or you start over. Yeah. So I have a couple of things I did. I had this one disc I put out probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It's called "On the Tube." This song, on the tube. I heard it on the tube. It must be true. I saw it on the tube. It must be true. So it's a parody about all the junk you see on TV. And I had a few other songs on that. So there's a few people running around town that have that.
That's awesome.
And I've got some others that I really need to finish. And I'm hoping now that I'm not so busy playing, I can actually find the time to do that.
I think you're good.
Yeah,
I think you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you have any favorite artists? Anybody that you fashion yourself after? Anybody you go, oh man, I want to sound like that guy? We all have somebody.
We all have that. When I first started, the main guys, the Beatles, Cream, Eric Clapton. I was into the Doors. Then I got into Deep Purple. Richie Blackmore is just like mind blowing. And then I had a friend at school who was a really good guitar player, and he was kind of my mentor. He was always coming up to me and saying, "Have you heard this? What are you doing here?" He was like the guy who's telling you about what I like to do, like to help people get over things.
Right.
And he came up to me one day and he goes, "Have you heard Chicago Transit Authority?" And I went, "What?" He goes, "Go by the album, play questions 67 and 68. I'm like, "Okay." So I put this thing on and it's, oh, cool, horns, And I hear this cool thing, and then I hear Terry Kath, the guitar player, do this guitar run that nobody had ever heard. It's just, I'm like, what? So I'm picking up the needle and I'm going,
Going back.
I wore out that little spot in the record.
It's got a little dip in it.
Yeah. So he was my biggest influence, and then I kind of took a roundabout way. Everybody was really into like Led Zeppelin, which I liked Led Zeppelin.
Sure.
They got into Jeff Beck, and I was into Hendrix, yeah.
Right.
But I went off in this direction towards fusion, which kind of led me in this big circle around back to Jeff Beck and back to Jimi Hendrix. And it was kind of a funny way around. I went this big circle, fusion, back into blues. So I'd have to say my favorite guitar player at the moment, it bounces back and forth between Robin Ford and Jeff Beck.
That's awesome.
So, because Jeff is just, it's like people hear him and they go, "How is he doing that?"
That's awesome.
And Robin Ford's just amazing. So,
it's funny. I love singing. I love singing high stuff.
Yeah.
Which, for whatever reason, I can still hit those notes. I am not complaining. I have my moments where I go, I'm done. I'm done. But
you hit notes that hurt my head.
it's so funny. My son's like, "Dad, are you missing something down there?" I'm like, "No, I don't know where it comes from because I have a naturally deep voice, but I can hit. It's like even beyond falsetto. It's not even falsetto, and so it's
like Mariah Carey.
It's so stupid. It's retarded, but I love it. But my thing, at senior games, I had the fortune of playing with Sean Owens.
That
David.
was awesome.
I love Sinatra. I've always loved that kind of stuff. Big band. If I had a big, like Michael Bublé, when that guy came out, I was like, that hack guy taking my Harry Connick.
Harry Connick.
That was the original Harry Connick stuff when he was first starting out on his own before he went into jazz and all that stuff. He was doing the big band stuff.
Yeah.
I've always loved that stuff.
Yeah,
always.
Too.
That's always been my go-to. It's always been my go-to. So when I sing like, Chicago or Journey, I love Journey. I love that kind of stuff. I love it. But if I could do a 2-hour thing of just Sinatra in a tuck somewhere.
Yep. Well, you did it very well, I have to say.
That's fun.
That was you had the area's best players and doing that, and it was just like fun.
And you know how this is why I love these guys.
Awesome.
It's kind of like us when we go, we play for fun. We don't really rehearse, but which is great because we, after like 2 rehearsals, can do better than most people that have been practicing for like 6 months. It was like those guys. We never got together.
Yeah.
Ever. They said, "This is what we're going to do. If you know these and you're comfortable, we're going to follow you." And that's literally how that went that night. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
awesome.
easy money.
I have to say my favorite part was when somebody came up and wanted some swing, and they played the theme song to
Flintstones. Yeah. He's like,
I'm dying.
yeah, he goes, hey, the guy wants a waltz, guy wants swing. What are we going to do? Let's do the Flintstones. 1, 2, 3, da, 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 da. I'm like, you're going to be kidding me. And they just went with it. It was great. Yeah, that was good. That was awesome.
That was great. No, that was awesome. That was great.
That was a lot of fun.
I like big band. I like swing. My dad would come home from work. I'd have his records playing, and he'd come in there. You okay? Going, yeah, this is awesome stuff. I love that kind of music. Yeah.
As a kid, my grandparents had all the Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops records.
Yeah.
And Sinatra. My grandpa did not like Sinatra. He called him a hack because he was from Hoboken. My grandpa loved Jerry Vale.
Yeah.
He loved Tony Bennett. Yeah. He loved what was the other one he used to listen to? But he had all the Sinatra records because my grandmother listened. So when they weren't home, I would grab my grandmother's. I was like 7. I'd grab the sewing needles and conduct the Boston Pops. In front of the mirror. Other kids my age were doing other things in front of the mirror, or using the mirror for other things, and I was conducting music. So that was my thing. I loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's awesome. Everybody has, they hear when they're playing or they're singing, they have their one favorite, like you say, your influence.
Yeah.
And you never seem to stray from that, or you always go back to it. Like you say.
Unfortunately, Terry died from an accident in like the 70s. So,
yeah, most musicians die from accidents.
Yeah, it was
accidental overdose.
This was an accidental shooting.
Oh yes, that's crazy.
So, but he was amazing. And
how old was he?
I don't know.
He was in the 70s.
Yeah, it was 76, I think.
So he was young.
So he was probably late 20s, maybe.
Was he a member of the 27 Club?
I don't know, man. I don't think
I have to look at that. That's a strange coincidence. Amy Winehouse, Mama Cass,
Jim Morrison,
Jimi
Hendrix,
all of them.
All of what's her name? Oh, Lord, won't you buy me?
Oh, Bobby McGee.
Yeah.
Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin. Yeah, all of them.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And there's if you Google a 27 Club, it's a huge list.
Yeah.
I think James Dean, didn't he die? 27?
Ooh, maybe.
That's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
We're part of the 87 Club. And we're not going out
gracefully.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No.
Yeesh. So you brought one of your guitars, right?
I did. I brought one of my guitars.
This is one that Gary made.
How I got into this was, I'm small. People don't make guitars for people that are small. Well, there's a few that are made.
You mean the neck is shorter?
Well, the neck's a little bit shorter. I mean, they make smaller
bodies.
Yeah, it was kind of like this is a very, very, very popular body style. They call it a T style. I can't really,
Can't use
they
proprietary.
Get upset. Yeah. When So, and I liked that guitar, but it was too big for me. So I said, well, I like their other one too. It's too big for me, so I made one smaller. I made it about a half-inch smaller all the way around. So to make it look uniform, I made a shorter scale on the neck, and it looked great. And out of Providence, I don't know what, I loved the neck, and I made the neck so it fit my hand. And there were certain things about certain necks that I really liked.
So it's narrower?
It's narrower up here, and it uses a normal shape, and then at the 5th fret, it flattens out. There were a lot of necks made by a company called Charvel in the 80s, and they were very, very thin. And I had one, and it was just, I go, this is just awesome. So nobody did that, so I wanted it to do 2 different things. So I had to do it myself. So that's what started this.
Yeah, we can see that. There you go.
And I kind of got to building guitars.
Cool. So what kind of wood is that?
This on top is tiger stripe maple or flame maple.
Huh.
This is flame maple too. It's a 3-piece
on the
neck.
back.
So here we're pretty much round, and then it flattens out right here. So it's a very, very
gotta see it.
thin neck. And a 3-piece, so it's actually
And the wood's strong
very
enough
stable.
so
It's
that if it's
maple.
thin,
Yeah. Well, again, by making out of it 3 opposing pieces, you cut the piece of wood in 3 pieces. Get my hand out from the microphone. And you take one and you flip it around. So now you have opposing force. It stabilizes it. It's a lot of work, though.
how long does it take you to make something?
Making a neck's a lot of work.
Really?
Yeah. Neck is the hardest part. A lot of math.
That's why it takes so long for a baby to be born.
Yeah,
It's the neck.
The neck. It takes a long time for
I knew
the
it.
neck. So, honestly, I had about 3 or 4 that I started out to see how fast I could build them, but I get to a point where I got the body done really fast, but the neck just takes a lot of time because it's a lot of hand shaping.
Show them the head, the top of that thing with all the. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. And what does it say on there?
It says Burnell.
Burnell.
That's my middle name.
That's
It
good.
was my dad's middle name.
Good Mormon name.
But he went
Burnell.
by that. Well, it's funny. See, they grew up in a little mining town.
That's
and,
awesome.
A lot of immigrants, and my grandmother heard somebody calling that out to their kids. She went, "Ooh, I like that name." So my was named after his father, and then they used the Burnell as his middle name, and then that's what they called him. So he went by that.
Yeah, I didn't get off that easy. My name's
Yeah.
Edwin.
Ooh. Well, I didn't really like the name until I got to a point in my life, and
Until you realize you can make money with it.
until I realized it makes a beautiful logo. And I went, it's really a cool name.
That's awesome.
And started doing that, and that's when I really got into it. So
We got about 30 seconds here. If somebody
Okay.
wants to reach out to Gary Huff to make a guitar,
it takes a long time.
to make foot pedals,
Yeah.
go to Music Works over there at 300 South, 200 East.
Yeah.
Check him out there. Gary Huff, you are the man.
You can find this there.
That you can see it there.
Yeah.
Gary's over there signing autographs. Gary, thanks for coming out, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for being here. Startup Nation, we'll see you next week, everybody. Peace out.